Okay, so welcome to the Dodgeball Marketplace. This is everywhere you'll need to go for off-season activities. You have every player here with their rating, their 40 time, it doesn't matter now, just for this video. You're just getting a team to sign up to. And so the teams that have offered you out of the 20 teams in the league, there were 6 openings, and the ones that suit your chemistry best. So the numbers that you gave me, you know what 2 of them were. But your chemistry number is a number generally out of 30 to 70, which the players coming out of school, they have a chemistry number. And yours is 32, so players that are in and around 32 will be more buddy-buddy with you than if they were a 63 or a 82. And there's actually a couple coaches, a couple teams like that. The Gold, they have a 35 average player chemistry. The Dizzy Devils have a 38. So it's kind of rare, but at the same time, the benefit is the players that do have that are much more likely to want to be under your system. And so the rest of your numbers are 2 years contract and 5 location, which is some people have that. So the teams that offered you, the Cats, the Dizzy Devils, and the Blackers. So we'll just go through it in not really order, but whatever. So the Cats, they have the 13th pick in the draft. They actually have a couple deals out right now. They would have $6 million in cap. They're spending $18 million now. But they have a couple of deals that are putting them at 20. They paid for a draft pick last year, and they're paying for Elios, one of their players that they traded for another team. So Elios, he was a big ticket item they got last year. They traded the kitchen sink for him. And he played well. Luca Hoffman was a rookie last year. He's one of the better players on the team. This team is pretty trash. Jared is aging. He's getting really bad. Like every game, his age is making his rating go down, just nosedive. And so Hoffman has a rookie contract, so you can cut him without any penalty. I don't know how to explain everything yet. I don't know what it'll just make a different video once you sign with the team. But pretty much the rules are you can cut one player contracted without penalty. You can restructure a contract without penalty. That, if they have 2 years on their contract, you can extend it, or you can give them more money, or try to get them less money. You can draft over another player. So if Elios is on your roster and you want him gone, you don't have to cut him and waste your cut. You can draft a player on top of him and just get rid of him. And you can trade one contracted player. So you can trade players at the end of their contract if they wanna weigh their options instead of just, because the player can leave. Like Zach, he's at the end of his contract. He can leave, but if it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't know how to do it any other way, but if Zach wanted to either weigh his options or if he wanted to re-sign, you could turn around and want to trade him, which is kind of messed up. But those are just some rules to keep track of when looking at these rosters. And so, yeah, Elios, he wants 9. So none of these players you have to re-sign. They are signed up for 1 more year. But this is how much money they do want versus how much money they're making now. Let's just keep track of that. You actually have one of the cheaper teams desire-wise, because most teams are in the 30s. but they do suck, so that's why. And so looking at their chemistry versus yours, which is 32, Elios is 36, so that's a selling point. Luka Hoffman, rookie, since he's just a second-year player, his chemistry changes a lot easier, so he would be down to 34 maybe by the end of next season if you were the coach. So yeah, that's their assets. They owe money. They owe $2 million, which is a lot. And they have $4 million in cap to either cut or re-sign Zach, or they have there's 20 draft picks. There's only one round of draft, so they don't have that good of a draft pick. They traded it with the Dizzy Devils last year for, I believe, I don't remember, but they traded it with the Dizzy Devils last year. Okay, so that's the Cats. They're in the South. Big guys in the division are the Toros and the Skylarks, and the Checkers actually went to the playoffs last year, but I mean that's just, I don't know, you don't need that information. Next team, the Dizzy Devils. They're from the North. They're actually playing Washington, D.C., which might be a selling point for you. And their chemistry is 38.9 collectively. So they'd be right. They'd fit right in with you. And they have the second pick in the draft. And they have, they made a deal, so they have $1 more million in salary. So they have $9 million in cap room. They have 2 players to re-sign if they want to, or if they want to walk, then they can. Your star player, McFadden, he 35.4 chemistry, so he'd be right in line. I mean, he wants a lot of money, but he still have 2 years. DeGarmo, he absolutely flopped last year, but you're paying him $3 million, so you can completely cut him and you won't suffer a penalty. Dizzy Devils play in a very competitive conference. The Margays are going to be great next year. Everything's lining up for them. The Sea Dogs just went to the championship last year, and the Empire are always good, and the Blackers are terrible. But it's a very competitive division, but you have some nice assets with the draft pick and $1 million extra than the average team. You have the 7th best dasher in the league. That's important. Dashing is pretty much like each set, there's 5 players on the field. And if the dasher wins his dash, your team starts with the ball. So if you have a good thrower, it's pretty much a 5-on-4 scenario because your good thrower is going to get the other team out. So a good dasher is good. So you have a middle-of-the-road dasher you might want to look into if you can get a better one. In a division as tight as the North, anything helps. But, I mean, obviously they want money and they're highly sought after. So you might not even want to get in a bidding war since you don't have Paulo. He's at the end of his contract. So that's something to think about. But yeah, DC, good chemistry, good draft pick, extra $1 million, it's a pretty good deal. And the last offers from the Blackers, they're Philadelphia. Their average chemistry is all the way at 50. Robertson, he's a rookie, pretty good, 81 rating. I mean, the average player is around 80 rated. So, and coming into the second year, he's already in 80, so he's going to go higher. Temp, nice franchise player. Just entering his 4th season, I believe. So he's your standard thrower. Good defense. Average defender. I mean, the good defender is 50 or above catching and 50 or above dodging. So he's pretty much your prototypical franchise player. You guys don't have a draft pick. You traded it away, so draft pick 21, that's what that means. But you do have an extra $1 million because you did trade away your draft pick last year. What else? So this orange means you franchised, the coach before you franchised this player. And that means the contract just starts at 0 again for the next season. So whatever contract you had doesn't matter. You're starting over. You might just let him walk. And you have 2 contracts that are ending. James, which is a really good dasher, 4th best dasher in the league. But you also have Cooper, which is not a bad dasher in his own right, so you might want to let him go because Cooper is more cheap and he's younger. But that's just things to think about. These are the scenarios. So yeah, just go through this video, and none of this happiness stuff matters yet because it's basing it off the previous coach. I don't know, I mean, I could throw up this location map of colleges, but it's all, I mean, the Dizzy Devils and Blackers, they pretty much have the same colleges that are close to them, and the Cats don't have that many colleges close to them, if that matters. So with the location thing, some players care about their location just as you do, and some players don't, so sometimes it's not a factor. And also, I forgot to mention, so the prestige matters a little bit. I mean, all these little numbers, I mean, there's just a bunch of numbers and calculations. I don't even really, not able to follow it completely anymore. But prestige 1 to 4, the Blackers are 1, they're not very good. The Dizzy Devils are 2, so they're a little more attractive, and the Cats are 2. So teams like the Sea Dogs are 3, Empire are 4. So players like, despite the chemistry problems, despite the limited cap space, players like going to teams that have good prestige because that means they get, well, it depends actually. Some players have this prestige number, and 1 to 4. So a 4, they care about prestige. They want to go to good teams, and a 1 doesn't really care. So a good goal is to get a good prestige, and you just get it rolling in. Just like the Gold, they have everything going for them. They have 2 million more in cap space, which I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of it because it's really unfair. Ramos made that deal back in college, and it's just been sitting there. They have a 12th pick in the draft. They just won the championship. They have a very happy team. They have a great chemistry team. I mean, they just have everything going on, just for an example. I guess I should mention the owners for the team. So the Cats, so these are just expectations for performance. So the Cats, they want you to peak by year 6, and their peak percentage is 56% winning, which isn't very hard. Dizzy Devils peak at year 6 also. Peak percentage is 60, which is a little more. And the Blackers peak year 7. So I mean, all these are pretty long expectations, and peak year 72% winning. So yeah, just go through this video and let me know. Probably not, I mean, I'm not planning on playing this season until April. So I mean, it's not a big rush. I just kind of want to get it rolling a little bit. So no moves are going to be made until the combine. Until after the combine, so everybody just watches the combine with their problems ahead of them, and then after the combine they watch all the draftees. So if you go on this spreadsheet or this table, you see the draft guys and just kind of what their fit is with you, and you can just use these numbers kind of as a gauge. I mean, I'll explain all this later. Once you pick a team, or you could have a hangout or something explaining all of this. But, so yeah, you'll watch the combine. All these numbers will change. The throwing, catching, dodging, 40 time. All those numbers will change for the going through the combine. They'll kind of be averaged out with their college numbers. So that's about it. Just let me know what your pick is, and we can probably just schedule a time to hang out and answer any questions.